Hi there, and welcome to Fundera's tutorial on how to complete your Payroll Protection Program application with our partners over at Cross River Bank. My name is Andre Vigru, and I am a Senior Funding Advisor here at Fundera, working specifically on the Payroll Protection Program. And I'll be your guide through this tutorial. Now, today we're going to cover the three most important parts of the Cross River application: the documents required to complete it, the PPP calculator to determine how much you're eligible for, and we're going to run through a sample application to show you what it looks like. So most importantly is going to be the documents required for the application. The first thing is the last 6 months of business bank statements. So this is being recorded in April of 2020. So we would need October to March bank statements. Now they also want to see the month-to-date bank statement for the business. Now, banks usually don't publish month-to-date statements, so the easiest way to do this is to go to your online banking account and click Control Print and Save as PDF. Now, just a note, all of these documents here should be saved in the PDF, except for the calculator that we'll go through later. Next is a driver's license for any owner above 20%. Now, I encourage you to have all of the personal information for any owner above 20%, because they will need to get involved during the application. Next is a voided check. This can be just a picture of a voided check, but it still needs to be saved as a PDF. Next is the PPP calculator provided by Cross River Bank. Now this is an Excel sheet where you answer a few questions and it'll show you how much you're eligible for, and it'll assist you through your application. We're going to go through a sample of this later. Next is payroll documentation. Now, most importantly for Cross River is payroll documentation over the year of 2019. Now, ideally, they would like to see the Form 941s. These are quarterly tax documents that are sent to the IRS, which reports your payroll. Alternatively, you can send the 940, which is a summary of 2019, or the W3, which is also a summary of compensation over 2019. Now, if you do not have these tax documents, they will ask for a written summary as to why you're unable to provide them. They will still review your application, but it will take a little bit longer. And then lastly, this is optional, but the most recently filed business tax return. Not only is this going to help you with your application, but it will make it easier for Cross River to run the numbers, and you'll get feedback much quicker. So the PPP calculator in Excel is a document that we're going to go through shortly that describes, that calculates for you how much you're eligible for. Now, this is a very important document for Cross River Bank because that's how they'll be checking all of your numbers for the loan amount. Now, what's important with this Excel document, and something that we'll go through, is the numbers that we input there should match numbers on tax verified documents. And then next, the PPP program is forgivable as long as you use at least 75% of it on payroll costs. So they're going to ask you what else you'd like to use it for, but remember, if you want this to be forgivable, you do need to use at least 75% on payroll. So the sample application that we're going to go through here is going to look very familiar for LLCs, partnerships, S-corps, and C-corps. Now for sole proprietorships and 1099s, your applications are going to look a little different. So I would refer to content on Fundera's blog, The Ledger, describing how to do those applications specifically. Okay, so let's review some documents here. We have some sample documents. These are not real documents, but they're going to look exactly like what you'll be working with on your own. So now business bank statements are something you should be very familiar with. You can usually download these off of your online banking fairly quickly. Now these are sample documents, but one thing that's important for bank statements is at the top corner, sometimes at the bottom, it'll have a page number. Page 1 of 10, page 1 of 8. If it says page 1 of 8, the bank is going to request all 8 pages. Even if the last four are blank or just checks, they do want to make sure that all those pages are accounted for. So I have all of these bank statements labeled here. And then there's the month-to-date statement, which is going to, again, just be a screen capture. Easiest way is to log on to your April transaction report and click Control Print, save as PDF. Okay. So this is a sample W-3 form. The W-3 is a summary of all your W-2s for 2019. This document shows 2020, but the 2019 document looks exactly the same. Now there's a few things to keep an eye out for on the W-3. One is box number 1. This shows your cumulative wages, tips, and other compensation for the year of 2019. So that is a great number to keep in mind. And then additionally, which we'll talk about later, there's going to be some other tax verifiable information like federal income tax withheld and state income tax, as well as local income tax, that could play a part in the calculator down here. Next is the 941 form. Many of you are going to be familiar with these forms. What's important is box number 2, which shows your wages, tips, and other compensation throughout that quarter. And you can see up here, this is Q1. This is for 2020, but the 2019 document is going to look exactly the same. So here you just want to make sure you have all 4 quarters. So we have, okay, Q2, Q3, Q4. Now, if you add up all of the quarters, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 of box 2, that number should equal the number up here in your W-3. So the W-3 kind of summarizes what's in the 941s. And then as well as the 941s, there is a 940 form that summarizes all of the 941 quarterly reports. That is acceptable as well. Next is a driver's license. This can be a picture, but make sure you save it as a PDF document. Same with the voided check. Next is an optional document. This is the most recently filed business tax return for an S Corp. LLCs, partnerships, and C Corps might look a little bit different, but there's a few things that will help in our application here. The industry code, or the NICS number, can be found in the top left corner, so you can reference that there. Also, the official date of incorporation is in box E, which we're going to have to keep in mind later. And then next, line 8 shows wages and salary. This should match what you have in the W-3. Okay, now we're going to go through a sample calculator and filling it out. So on the first page of the calculator here are instructions. Please feel free to read through this. For time's sake, I'm just going to go through this with you now. Include the date, the official legal name of the business if you are a franchise, the business EIN number, and the individual filling out the form. Now, all of the gray boxes are the ones that you should be filling out. So we're going to be doing our application based off of the 2019 numbers. We are not a seasonal business. Now please refer to the SBA website to see if you are an excluded business. Fundera is not, thankfully. Now put in the number of employees that you currently have. Now these 2 boxes are in regards to the PPP forgiveness program. If you want this loan to be forgiven, 75% or more of it needs to be used on payroll. So that is acknowledging that. And then Cross River down the line will give you guidelines on how to keep track of the fact that you're spending this money on payroll so that it can be forgiven. Now we're going to input the payroll values into the calculator, which will generate your PPP loan amount. What's important for this step is to make sure that the numbers are accurate and that everything that we put into these boxes can be tied back to verifiable tax documents. So the first line we're going to take a look at is line 33. That is the full year of 2019 salary, wages, commissions, or similar compensation. Now, for this box, we're going to want to have our Form 941s handy. Again, those are the quarterly payroll tax documents. So what's important when you're calculating this number is you're going to want to look at one line in particular. When you're looking at the 941 forms, you might think that we're going to be adding up line 2, but we're actually going to be adding up line 5C, taxable Medicare wages and tips. Now you'll find the number in 5C is a little bit bigger than what's in line 2, which is good because it means we'll be able to qualify for a larger PPP loan. So go ahead and add up the values in line 5C for all 4 quarters of 2019 in the 941 forms. Now I've done that for us here. A simple round number for the example. And then for lines 34 through 37, those values are going to depend on how you do your accounting and how you do your taxes. If you do fill in those boxes, keep in mind that you should be able to tie those values back to some verifiable tax documents. Moving on to line 38, let's pull up the W-3 form. Now, one thing that's important on the W-3 is adding back federal, state, and local taxes. So here on the W-3, we have some federal income taxes withheld. So that is 11233 plus 9234. Okay, 20,467. We're going to add that in. 20,467. Now the payroll protection program only helps cover payroll of less than 100,000. So if you have any of this 480,000 that is compensated to somebody that earns more than 100,000, you need to put the balance in this box. Okay. Importantly, if you have an outstanding EIDL loan, that is the disaster relief loan provided by the SBA, they want you to put in the balance. So for this example, we're going to have nothing. Okay. These boxes here are verifying that all of the information that you inputted up here is accurate and can be tied to documentation that you provide. Okay. Once we answer yes, boxes 52 and 54 will populate. This is our average monthly payroll, and this is the amount that we qualify for. Now down here is going to explain or show how you plan on using the funds. You can use 100% on payroll, but for this example, let's put 75 for payroll, and then let's use some of this for rent. Okay. We're going to save this document, and now we're going to go through the application on Cross River's website. Great. So for our example here, we're going to be Fundera Inc. Business email will be sample@fundera.com. The business phone, we're going to use our general line. Entity type, we are C Corp. We're going to put in a fake EIN number here. Business start date, this is very important to get accurate. And the entity of Fundera was opened in September 2013. For this example, we have 7 employees. Fundera is incorporated in Delaware. And here, this is the industry code, or NICS code, known as the NICS code. If you click on this link, you can easily search your industry. So for this example, let's look up electrical contractors. Okay. All right, and you can scroll down here. Let's do non-residential electrical contractors. 238212. Nice. Okay. Business address, 123 William Street, New York, New York, USA. Next step is the owner information. Main thing to keep in mind here is that if anyone owns 20% or more of the business, they should be involved on this application. So our owner is Jared Hecht. Put in a fake social here. And the mobile, we're just going to put the same as our general line business phone number. Okay. If you are a home-based business, you can click here. If you have a physical business location, please put that in. This button is what you use to add another owner. In this case, our owner is 100%, but if you had anyone over 20%, you need to add in their information as well. Okay, seems like I filled in this wrong. Let's try that again. Now what the system here is doing is just running to verify that your information is correct. Now this is just sample information, so it might take a little bit longer. Okay, great, we're on to the next step. Now this link here is very important. I encourage you to save this link somewhere, because if you want to come back to your application at any point, you can just put this into an internet browser and it'll take you right back. Otherwise, you would need to restart. So I've gone ahead and saved that. Now these are general eligibility questions for the SBA PPP program. All of these will be unique to your business, but I'll just go ahead and put in this information for Fundera. Okay, now we're on to the payroll information. This is where we want to have our PPP calculator handy. So in our PPP calculator, we said, okay, we're going to use it for payroll and some of it for rent, so lease and mortgage interest. Okay, so let's bring this back up here. Average monthly payroll, line 52 on the PPP calculator. Okay, so we go down, find line 52. All right, 41,705. Outstanding balance on the EIDL. This is what we did here. Do we have a disaster relief loan? No, we don't. 0. And then the maximum amount that we qualify for, 104,263. Okay, next step. Great. Now this is just a summary of the application. Make sure all of your information is correct. Now this is the e-signature. So I'm going to go ahead and complete this information, sign it, and move on. Now we're on the last step, uploading the documentation. So I like to keep the documents organized into bank statements and other documents. So here, they want the bank statements. So we're going to go ahead, choose some files. And upload those. We don't need to label them. Next is the required documentation that we went through. So let's go to our documents here. They want the driver's license for Jared, sample Sally, voided check here, proof of payroll in the form of 941 documents, 1, 2, 3, 4. In addition, we're going to offer the W3. Next, the PPP calculator, which we have saved. The most recent one is up here. And then optional most recent business tax return, which we have saved here. So go ahead and open. Now we label each of these. The W3 is going to be proof of payroll, PPP calculator, then proof of payroll for all 4 quarters. Next is going to be Jared's driver's license, avoided check, and lastly, the most recent business tax return. At which point you would click next step. This will complete the application, and you'll get notification that you'll hear back from Cross River Bank within 72 hours. Let's see if this goes through. Excellent. So our application is complete. Now, throughout the application, sometimes it does crash at the end when you're uploading documents. This is where you just get the link that you saved and you come back and upload the documents once more. This has occurred in the past just due to volume, so I wouldn't get too discouraged about that. But thank you for joining us for this tutorial through the PPP application on Cross River Bank's website. And we will make further tutorials down the line for different entity types. Thank you.